And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I feel like I should say at this point in time, stop, don't run away. I mean, when you look at the front of this box, it really doesn't inspire you like, well, at least if you're like me. I got this and I said, another game about the colonial or Renaissance area. Who cares? The Dutch Golden Age, yay! Especially when I saw the designer was Leo Calavini, who's not one of my favorite designers. But let me tell you, all that aside, yes, the theme in this game is pasted on. Well, I mean, it works a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, it's like, pick something new. But you know what? The game's not so bad. I really enjoyed it. There is a small problem with a runaway leader maybe being difficult to catch, but it has some interesting things that I found a lot of fun. So if you can get past that front picture and that the theme, you'll find a pretty good game inside. So here's the board for the game, which shows the Netherlands and has different provinces that are different colors. And there's this track, as you can see, that goes all around the board. And over here we have the council, who starts in the track. And at the beginning of each player's turn, they're going to roll 2 dice. So for example here, I rolled a 6. And shockingly, and maybe in a homage to American games, you move the guy 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And wherever you land, for example, this guy landed on one of the yellow provinces and one of the green provinces. If players have pieces on the board in those provinces, they're going to get money. Money is really critical in this game, so all the money you can get counts. So you might have your pieces in provinces knowing where that guy's going to go around the board, but you know what? Random, totally random. There's a few spaces around the track that if he lands on those spaces, like this gentleman here, everyone gets $1. But for the most part, he's basically moving around the board to put random money in people's hands. Then, though, a player takes their turn. Now, players have different things that they can do with their turn. See, they're trying to take control of different provinces using their control markers. Players only have 6 of these control markers. And once they control a province, no one else can control that province. However, players also have these movement tokens. They're there to collect money from that randomness on the outside board. But also, if you get 3 of these movement tokens into one province, you can take that province if no one else has it. And so they're there for money and for doing that. Now, when a player controls a province, they can use that province on their turn, taking a control marker and turning it over. Each province does something different. The green provinces allow you to grow. You basically pay $5 and you can add another movement guy to the board. Remember, if you get 3 of these guys in the same province, then you can change them into an influence marker if no one else already controls that province. The other 4 provinces allow you, or other 4 colors, I should say, allow you to draw one of several decks of cards. So let's take a look at these decks of cards because this is, to me, what really makes the game interesting. Here we have 4 decks of cards corresponding to the different provinces. Let's look at the yellow one first. The yellow one, when you get one of these cards, you pay $3 to get it. This one here, these cards all give you money. So this one here, you get $5. Pretty good deal. This one here, you get 20, but you need 3 of these same cards to get it. So when you get this, it's worth nothing. But the third time you get these cards, then you can turn them in for $20. That's a lot of money. So yellow provinces are a good way to make money. Blue provinces are a way to send people to the New World. When you turn these over, you'll get one of 3 different items: a cannon, or a ship, or the captain. Once you have all 3 of these people, or these cards, you can send someone to the New World. And there's also a flag in a deck which acts as a wild. It can be any one of those 3. Pretty useful. Colonies in the New World will help you out tremendously. The red provinces allow you to turn over painting cards. These cards are going to give you points at the end of the game, or when they're finished, actually. This guy takes $6. So every time you use a red space, instead of putting out a new painting card, you could put $1 on this card. And once you have $6, you will get 8 points. Some of them are easier to do. This one only needs $1 for 3 points. So paintings are a very critical way to get points. And finally, the gray deck is kind of a wild deck. It might have yellow cards inside it. It might have blue cards inside it. And it might just have cards that give you extra money when someone controls a specific province. For example, here, when you control, this gives you governorship of Zealand, and so anytime that gentleman around the outside of the board lands there, you get $1, and its card is also worth a victory point at the end of the game. So knowing which one of these decks to use is pretty interesting because you can go for different strategies. Now, I mentioned the blue deck because the blue deck allows you to go to the New World. Now, as you see out here, in the New World, there are several places to establish colonies. When you do so, you'll put your token there to show that you've established a colony there. And from then on, you can draw from another deck, this deck right here. And this is the colony deck. And let's take a closer look, or maybe not so close look at this deck. When you draw from this deck, it's pretty much exactly the same as the yellow deck, except they're better. See here, 2 cards give you $16, 3 cards give you $27, and 1 card gives you $7. Not only that, every colony that you have out there gives you 5 points or 6 points, your choice. Realize, though, that whichever colony you have, that's how much it costs to buy one of those cards. So here, cards cost you 2. Here, cards cost you 6. Over here, they cost you 7. But the benefit is you get 6 points for having a colony out there. Finally, a player can take control of one of these guilds. What good is a guild? Well, a guild will allow you to take one of the actions, green, red, blue, yellow, or black, on your turn. So if I could pay $3, I control this guild, the red guild. But if someone else later on in their turn pays a higher price, they will take control of it, and I no longer have it. So that's basically how the way the game works. If you don't want to take one of your actions on your turn, you can auction it off to other players who can take it. You get points for every influence marker you have on the board. You get points for every movement marker. You get points. Controlling different islands gives you points. Artists give you points, and some of the gray cards give you points. You add up the points at the end of your turn, plus any points you might have due to money. And if you ever at any point have 33 points, you win the game. There's a few other minor rules I didn't explain very well, but basically you're trying to get money and then use that money to take these actions. To take any action costs 3, except the growth action, which costs 5. To take control of the guilds costs money. So you're constantly pumping this money in, trying to get points back. But you have a variety of ways you could do that. You could try and do it through the paintings, the artists. Commission those artists, get more paintings, get points that way. Or just pump in money until you have a huge amount of money, and then you can do whatever you want. Or sending off, try to get out to these islands as fast as possible, which will give you money and give you points for having them out on the islands. You're going to run out of these influence tokens. You only have 6, and you need them to control provinces, to control guilds, and to go out to the islands. And so there's an interesting balance. Everything seems to work out pretty well. As I mentioned at the beginning of this review, when someone controls 3 or 4 provinces, they kind of have a power grip on everyone else. Why would they let even for auctions, it's not worth letting other people use your actions, and it's difficult to catch back up on that regard. It's also, in my opinion, very annoying to have to count your points up at the end of every round and figure out if you've reached 33 or not. A scoring track would have helped on that majorly. I'm not sure why they didn't add that in the game. And some people are going to find the abstract nature fun, but I like the idea of picking which pile of cards you're going to draw from. Am I going to go overseas? Am I going to commission paintings? So the whole thing comes together really well. There's some luck in the game, a decent amount actually of luck, but it plays fairly quickly, a little over an hour, and a lot of back and forth with the auctions. Doesn't seem to be enough money in the game. We ran out of money in every game I've played so far, except the 2-player game, but still a lot of fun. I only wish it went farther than 4 players.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.